Welcome. So tonight we start with Paul Adom-Otchere, who is the host of Good Evening Ghana. He's also the immediate past board chair of the Ghana Airport Company Limited. In the first term of Nana Akufo-Addo's government, he was also a board member of the NCA. If there's time, I'll ask him some questions around some communication issues. Paul, great to have you. You are fine fertile.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wait. This whole idea of you going to OSP and invitation, did it come as a surprise to you? Based on the fact that we knew you'd done shows on the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Were you surprised when you were invited to go and answer questions?
No, I wasn't. And I think at the outset, we have to say that the OSP has the right to investigate the things he has to investigate.
Okay.
He is an appointee of state, and he's paid by taxpayers' money to try and reduce corruption or to eradicate corruption altogether. The OSP bill that went to Parliament talked about how, in spite of the Office of the Attorney General, there should be still another agency, and many people agreed with this. So the OSP has a right to do his work all the time. There's no questions about it. But yes, we had been critical of some of the things he had done, and he had also been upset about some of our criticisms, some of which were expressed directly, in person, and all of that. So yes, we are aware that maybe somebody there is not happy, but we don't think that because somebody is not happy, he will prosecute you wrongly. If we are thinking that there's something wrong, then it's based on the facts that came to us. So yes, we do not think the OSP does not have the right to invite me or any other Ghanaian. And so when he invited me to show up last week, Thursday, my lawyers wrote back to him that there are two senior lawyers who would have represented me, but they are not available. So can we reschedule for the next Monday? They wrote back a very stern letter saying that you cannot reschedule, you have to come. So I went. So yes, I respect the OSP's power to investigate and to prosecute where he finds something to prosecute.
Manasseh Azuri had made some posts around some procurement matters in which he referenced the Ghana Airport Company and also mentioned your name. Do you think that influenced the whole decision to invite you?
I wouldn't know. I spoke to Manasseh personally about it. He sent me some questions. I understand that he's published them, but I don't know how the OSP does his work. And the OSP has power to investigate, so I really wouldn't know. But the OSP still has power within himself to conduct his own investigations.
But would a write-up by a prominent journalist, which then sort of raises questions for you in the public, not, I won't want to use the word prejudice because that probably predated the invitation, but obviously that contributes to the build-up, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, Manasseh's concern was about SML, and Manasseh's story was really that this SML has metamorphosed itself into something at Ghana Airport, and
yes.
So Ghana Airport people would know how that metamorphosis occurred, which I think is fair, but I don't know whether the OSP invited me because of that.
But he also says that the current, the contract for which Ghana Airport Company needs to answer questions is actually a transmogrification of SML. He actually says that it's the same people. There's a different name, but it's like the same principles. So clearly, he's sort of drawing a link between the SML deal and then a contract that the Ghana Airport Company awarded to this company, which he believes an offshoot, for which he believes you knew, because he claims you had a meeting with him or spoken to him, where you sort of said you had even met the people the night before sometime. So we are not dealing with Manasseh here, but it seems to be the same case that has changed into GSL, correct?
I don't know whether it's the same case.
I don't think so.
It may have similarities, but I don't know whether it's the same case because the OSP's letter had a reason why you've been invited. Okay. Corruption-related offenses and public procurement breaches relating to this contract.
Okay.
It's straight and fair. It doesn't make any reference to any investigations by journalists.
But do they establish why, as board chair, you should have any questions to answer on a deal like this?
They don't, and I was saying that is how we felt that there has to be some difficulty with this because why would you invite a board chair? I heard listening to your sister, another station on Saturday, Madam Vicky Bright, a corporate governance expert, was expressing wonder why a board chair will be invited for either procurement breaches or... So when they say corruption and corruption-related offenses, that itself does not capture any offense, but all the offenses come under it. So there's stealing, There's causing financial loss to the state. Clearly, this is not a matter of causing financial loss to the state because no money had been paid. No loss had been occasioned. Absolutely no money had been paid. And then there's also procurement breaches, which has nothing to do with board because the public procurement law identifies the entity head, the CEO, as the people they deal with. I, as board chairman, never wrote any letter to public procurement. I never engaged public procurement. There were several procurements, as I have told the OSP in the interrogation, that the board is not even aware of. The board doesn't need to know. So procurement, board and procurement, it sounds incongruous, but investigative authorities know what they are doing. So this was a contract about revenue assurance. Now, the Minister for Transport at the time had told us that we needed to develop other ways of making money for the airports. They call it non-aeronautical ways of making money for the airport. So the aeronautical ways are the plane ticket and all of that. Non-aeronautical are maybe shops, people have shops, how much do you charge them? And it was a big concern. The cargo area was also a concern, and management and board knows about this. So the concern about the cargo area question was, are you really making the money you should be making from the cargo area as an airport? So if you take this Skywater, for instance, if it comes in from elsewhere abroad, it comes to the airport, is cleared by an agent, and then the agent, when he clears it, they tell Ghana Airport Company what business has been done, and out of that, a calculation of the commissions or whatever they pay to Ghana Airport Company is determined. There was a suspicion that perhaps the Ghana Airport Company is not getting what it should get. So this was about people coming to do a presentation to the airport company and say that I have the technology to be able to give you in real time what you should be getting. So they were told that, okay, let's develop it further, work with management and let's see. And then we told them at the outset that the bad news we have for them, though, is that we don't have money to pay. We can't pay. So they will have to do the work. And if they are successful at the work, then we can think of a commission for them. But to pay them, we can't. Okay, so that's the beginning. So they said, okay, well, no problem. They are confident that they'll be able to do the work. So they take the systems of Ghana Airport historically, maybe the last 3 months, how much did you receive? They do some algorithm analysis and tell you that you could have received this when you were getting this. Okay, so they work together with the management. They come back to the board and do a second presentation. In the presentation, they show us really fantastic figures of what we are losing. And we all are overwhelmed that, are they really serious that this is true? And they said, yeah, this is true. But these are very young men who seem to be very IT savvy. So this is what the whole contract's about. So the contract's about, okay, so give them the right now to do this assessment. Now, how anyone will know that the board was doing absolute fidelity to the company is that this contract, if it's successful, will gain more revenue for the company. But in doing the contract preparations, we were all sure that we will not be there by the time the success occurs. So when the success comes, whoever is in charge of GACL at the time will take credit for it. We were aware of that.
It was a long-term contract.
Yeah, we were aware of that. So in fact, the contract was signed, apparently, as I found out, on 4th December. Because we had finished our work. The last meeting we had, I think, was in August, something like that.
When did the process start, do you know?
The process started in March of 2024. So the process starts with come and do a presentation to the board.
Okay.
The board hears you. The board says, okay, management, can you take this further? Okay, they take it further. Management comes back and say, board.
So this was like they came to you. It wasn't like you had opened something. They found a problem and said they wanted to solve it.
No, we were looking for people to solve the problem.
Okay.
So one presentation came, so we listened to it. As far as we are concerned, listening to the presentation at the board stage is preliminary. No commitments have been made. There's absolutely no problem. We can listen to 10 presentations and don't proceed with it and proceed with one. At that stage, it is when you are beginning to procure the service. It is then that there's a commitment. So we listened to the presentation. We said, okay, management, work with them, let's see. They came back and said, it looks like they have a story to tell. Let's hear them. We heard them. And then we said, okay, go ahead and work it out. Go ahead and work it out means management always knows what to do with that because the board is just a supervisory and say, we think this is good, look at it. Management may well come back and say, well, there was some information that you people didn't have. Let's give it to you and see whether you still think this is good. All of those things. So management went ahead and then did the contract. So this is the matter of this contract. Now,
so it wasn't like, because don't forget, you mentioned that even Vicky Bright has said that the issue of board and contracting
and procurement.
So it was the board did not actively choose the final winner of this or this company.
No, it's not a winner.
Also, there was no competitive. It was just one company.
It's a process that we are thinking, can they do it? And And so the public procurement has, is it sole sourcing they call it?
Yes.
And then when you want to do sole source, as I found out, you have to write to the public procurement and they have to accept it.
Okay.
Whether this is qualifies for sole sourcing or not. So if you, sometimes you write to them, I hear they will not accept sole sourcing, sometimes they will accept it, but they have a basis on which they accept it.
So was this done?
Yeah, so a letter was written to management, the board decided that go ahead and look for sole sourcing.
Okay.
And then when they will write to procurement, and procurement will decide whether this should be sole source, whether this qualifies as sole sourcing or not. So procurement can decide it doesn't qualify. Procurement can decide it qualifies.
This is the authority.
Yeah, the procurement authority. Yes. So you
Wonderful.
write to the public procurement authority. Their board will have a meeting. They will look at it. There are basis on which they accept. And I think the management people know. Because if you're asking sole sourcing, you have to show the person has this, that, all kinds of things. So they have proceeded with that. The board says, we think this is good. Go to public procurement. Let's see what happens. And
So
then,
you didn't insist that there should be competitive tendering?
no, we didn't.
You didn't
we
think?
didn't quite. You see, IT solutions are such that sometimes people have evolved them themselves. They are like intellectual property. So when people bring an IT solution, and because IT solutions can easily be duplicated, when somebody brings you an IT solution and you say competitive and other people can look at it and do it. So IT solutions are, sometimes that's why the sole sourcing is available in the public procurement. So that when somebody is bringing an intellectual property, if City TV decide that we think that there should be a documentary of this, that in trade, and then they go and tell the GIPC that, look, GIPC, we think you need this service and we can do it for you. And they say go and do competitive, then it means other people must present the same thing that City has originally thought about. So I think that the public procurement sole sourcing is for that. And the sole sourcing is not automatic. The public procurement must agree that this qualifies for sole sourcing.
So once the public procurement authority agrees, you are on all fours because it's their decision.
It's their
Or
decision.
your proposal and they recommend or not.
It's their decision.
They
It's
agree
the
or
public
not.
procurement's decision to agree or not. It's not. We can say we want sole source, and they'll say no, you can't have it based on that and that, and they're not.
And that process was gone through.
By the management. That's nothing to do with the board.
So the only thing the board did
has
was to
finished
listen to the people.
and say that go ahead with them,
Okay,
and you can do sole sourcing.
I see.
So they write to. I don't even know if when they are writing this reference the board, but the first engagement public procurement has with any process like that is the letter from the management saying that this is where we are. So that was done, and up until then, and indeed up until now, no money has been spent, and that there's a statement from the company just last week saying that absolutely no money has been spent on the contract.
The Ghana Airport Company hasn't paid this company for any service?
Ghana Airport Company, under the what we approved, is not supposed to pay them.
How are they supposed to make their money?
That's a good question. No payment at all. So we know that we are earning 100 cedis from mineral water. If you come and out of your work, you can show, or we can earn 500 cedis from the mineral water. The difference will be 400 cedis what you have added. Under the contract, or under what we discussed at the board, the proposal they brought, they wanted 20% of this 400. The board said, no, that's too high. You can have 16%. So this was the clarity that the board gave towards going to sole sourcing. So this is so no money is paid, no money. So if you can show truly that your systems have made us earn this, and if the system make us earn, we will all know, because they were saying that in real time they can tell the company how much you should be expecting, so that if the people come and they are saying something else, then we can reconcile with the data and show them that this is what. So this is what it's about. That's why no payment is involved. Absolutely no payment.
Were they able to increase your revenue?
That's a good question again, because we left on January 8th. And they began the process to demonstrate to the airport sometime in March.
2025.
5 years. Because the contract was signed on December 4th, as I was told. In fact, board members didn't know, but it doesn't matter. The contract was signed on December 4th. December 7th was the election. After December 7th, I think we held a concluding board meeting, something like that, with a lot of hostility on the ground, as you imagine what happened at that time.
But the management team was still in place?
Management is still in place, absolutely still in place. And then we left on January 8th because a directive came from the secretary to the president that all boards must leave. So we all resigned out.
But the management was still working?
The management was still working. So
and they decided to continue the process?
The contract has been signed. So apparently, the people started doing this, going through the processes to tell that they are still doing that. They have not gotten to the point where they can show that we have earned this and you give us this. They have not gotten to that point. That's why the management letter said no money has been spent. So this is the matter of money spending. Absolutely nothing. Zero.
So I think you've given us enough on the case without going too much into it. Now let's talk about when you went to meet the team. When they invited you and you said, you had wanted a different day. They said, no, you came. You went with your team. How was it like? Where did you go? Who did you meet? How was it like? What was the interaction like?
It's a simple interrogation. So it can get hostile at some times, which is understandable. I mean, somebody's arguing with you, said this, that you say that. So that happened. But it was fair and fine. And so you sit around a table like this, and then you are there with your lawyers, and they ask you questions.
So when you get there, do they charge you? Or they just say... I want to understand what it is.
The letter they sent to you
what was the letter saying?
Indicates that you are a suspect for this.
Okay.
So sometimes when you get there, they will do what they call the technical arrest.
Okay.
By touching you and say that you're under arrest.
Did they do that?
Yes, they did. So they read your rights to you, that you can decide not to answer questions, etc., etc. So you proceed. That is how come you need bail.
Okay. So you were technically arrested?
Yes. So when the interrogation finished, they brought a form that you should fill. Now, the form has specific questions. One of the questions is, do you have landed property in your name? And I answered that question, no.
Okay.
And I'm beginning to understand that was a problem, which we can talk about. And they said, do you have car? I answered it, and etc. Then they give you a bigger form that has more details, which you should answer over 30 days. So after the interrogation, they go to another room, and then some very nice people, they bring the form, and then you fill it. Then they take the form away. So after the form, they will come back and tell you your bail conditions. And that's where my lawyers...
So when you said you didn't have landed property in your name, did you understand that that was a precondition for the bail?
No,
you didn't know?
No, it's a form. It's just a form that you are filling. It has nothing to do with bail.
It's not labeled?
No, it's labeled as to disclose your name, your hometown. It's like a personal information form.
So when you filled that form, then later it was then said that because you have no landed property in your name, you can't get bail?
That is how my lawyers got upset, because the form indicates what you have as a landed property. So you answer the question. So by the time they are reading your bail conditions to you, they've already seen that form. They know what you have said in that form. So the big issue for my lawyers was that the suspect says that I do not have landed property. And then you say, okay, that is your bail condition. It suggests that there's a problem. But that's where the banter of my lawyer started. But then the issue about the form has been the no landed property has been discussed in a way that I feel disappointed by a big lawyer who said that he knows that I have 4 properties in Accra, and he's going
on
to
a media
show
platform.
It. Yes, he said it on a media platform and I sent him a text that, please, in 2 weeks, can you show the? I don't know why. I'll mention this, everybody knows it. That he said, you have landed property. I know Paul Adom-Otchere has given money to somebody. I mean, some of these wild allegations they throw about. And I keep asking that, if a person lives in the house and has lived there for 20 years, and he says, I don't have landed property, why is that awkward? The house address is available. Lands Commission is available. Everyone can check. I even look at it as a bit chauvinistic, because if a man and a woman live together and they have a house, it is believed that it's for the man, it's not for the woman. But people act differently. Assuming that I'm married to X or X is married to me, and we are working together, and the person's office terms of mortgage is better than my office's terms of mortgage. If we want a mortgage, we'll go to her office or his office to take the mortgage. The mortgage will not record, because it's a loan, 2 of you owning it. It will record the one who works for it and the mortgage partner. So you have the thing in the name of X and this bank.
So living in a house for 20 years does not mean
yours.
All right.
It doesn't mean that you didn't contribute.
Let's take a break.
Furniture or you didn't buy anything.
We're talking to Paul Adom-Otchere
anyway.
On his what's even I want to use his encounter with the OSP. We'll come back with more. He's telling us some of the things that he can tell us in relation to what happened there, and also the matter that he has been accused of. If we have time, we'll talk about national issues. Later on, we'll discuss DSTV and the minister. We have a nice debate for you. Stay with us. Welcome back. So my guest is Paul Adom-Otchere, host of Good Evening Ghana, immediate past board chair of Ghana Airport Company, who has had an encounter with the Office of Special Prosecutor. He was there a few days ago. It took you a day and a half to get bail. So they actually kept you there for... Where did you sleep?
Well, it's not fair to them to say they kept me there. It's better to say I was unable to fulfill the bail conditions.
But wasn't it surprising for a public figure who's on TV for 25 to 30 years, who's known, that it's difficult to get bail? I thought like sometimes, or it's not down the basis of whether you are a popular person or not. I'm not a lawyer. So.
All the lawyers are saying that this bail regime is very novel. It never happened. No one has seen it before. Bail regime is usually self-recognizance bail. I think that's what you're referring to. If you are somebody that they can always find, it's a self-recognizance bail, especially at the stage where you are a suspect. And also, bail conditions are people standing surety for you. People bring which is how the bill was revised to. They later on revised the bail conditions for other people to produce their houses, not me, myself. So, which is what everyone was expecting. So, in fact, when we're going there, the lawyer said that you may have to get bail. So, let's find people and get them ready.
They anticipated
and
this.
we did that. And we did that. So, but then this issue of go and bring your own house, especially coming after you have filled the form to say, I don't own landed property. I understand that that's annoying them because they thought I was lying. And I have to say that having done journalism for that long, filling a public form, I know the offense of a deceit of a public officer. It's in Act 30. I know it. So why would I write a form into a public officer, Office of Special Prosecutor, which is under the Office of the Attorney General, and make disclosures that are false? I don't understand how I would do that.
You have no landed property in your name.
Absolutely.
That is a fact.
I don't know why. And it's verifiable. It's
so
easily verifiable.
When they varied the bail condition,
yes,
that was the day after.
The day after, when lawyers went to the OSP and said, you can't have these bail terms, especially when the suspect had told you that he does not have landed property. I'm understanding that will annoy them, and that's why I'm worried about how that annoys anyone. Today, I've seen people on Facebook say, you have done journalism for 30 years, you say you don't have property. But I organize my life the way I organize my life. Okay. I want to use my money to do something else. Yeah. Another person who is with me uses their money or his money to do something else so that we can all benefit. I don't have landed property in my name.
That was a specific question.
It's a specific question. It's a question and answer. What is your name? Your hometown?
Your partner's name is not your name.
No, but if you come here to City FM where you and I used to work, and we are taking a car loan, and the car is 100,000 cedis, but City FM is willing to give you 80,000 cedis, and you take 20,000 cedis from your partner, and City FM wants to see the 20,000 cedis before they ask the bank to give you the 80. When you go into the arrangement, the car doesn't belong to you and your friend or partner and the bank. The car belongs to you, the City FM employee, and the bank that gave the money until you're able to pay the loan. So your name will not be on the car. You may use it every day, but your name will not be on it. It doesn't mean you didn't contribute to it, but it's a way in which you
beyond the legal
life.
Issues, were you okay with where you were detained? Was it what kind of place was it?
Oh, it's a normal place they detain every Ghanaian. So,
but we don't know what happens there. So when a journalist goes there, we want to know. Because most people don't come and tell us what is there.
It's just you're detained with people who are also detained, and nobody maltreated anyone. That's for sure.
Okay.
I mean,
is it a private place?
It's state-owned.
What I'm saying is that were you in a room with other people?
Yes, you will be in a room with other people. It depends on the numbers they have. If they don't have many numbers.
How many people were there?
Oh, easily about 25, something like. Not in the same room. There are some.
Were you in a room alone?
No, I was in a room with the other people, a guy from GSC. The people I went in there with, I was in a room with them, and one other person.
So where did you sleep?
Oh, they give you a mattress. You have a mattress
on the floor.
Yes, for now, but it's double mattress. I think because on the floor they make it, and they give you blankets.
Did they allow you?
They treat you well.
Were you able to get a change of clothes?
They provide it. They provide clothes. I wasn't there that long to know. I wasn't due for change of clothes yet because it was overnight, and by midday they came back and said we should get ready, and that the
So
OSP
were you able to
called.
Contact your family in the evening?
No, you can't. You can't contact anyone. When the day you go there, the next day, the OSP, or if it's BNI or if it's Yoko, they'll come back to talk to you. It is then that you can engage with them and tell them.
But your lawyers were moving in and out?
The lawyers can talk to the OSP, but they can't talk to the people at the place where you are kept. But the OSP controls that. So
in your interaction with the OSP, was your lawyer there?
Yes, the OSP himself wasn't there. I have to make that point. He wasn't there.
But your lawyers were there with you?
Yeah, during the interrogation, yes, they were both there. They had everything.
But when you were not able to secure the bail for that night, you were alone?
Yes, they will drive you to the facility alone.
It's not within the same precincts?
No. It's not at the OSP's office, no. So that's the issue. So you are held at the facility. The lawyer's work is with the OSP. He can't come there to see you. Wow. The OSP people can come and see you, and they can tell you that your lawyer said this, that, and you can tell them.
My lawyer cannot see you there?
No, he's not. He can't see you. I don't know whether at some point maybe he can see you, but for my experience for the period, you can't see anyone, nothing. You just wait and have a conversation with the people. So I did. I had a conversation with them, and I made some stories.
There's a video of you going back home. Mm-hmm. How concerned was your family about?
Oh, and this is at that point.
You. So where is this?
This is my house. So when I say my house, then they say
so
it's landed property.
Your wife came to meet you.
She was at the OSP. She was with the lawyers from morning. She was there with Afenyo Markin, with Godfrey Dami, with everyone. She was there.
Afenyo Markin was there?
Yeah, he graciously so. He was concerned about it. So he went to see the OSP. I mean, at the OSP's office. They all went to ask.
So Dami too was there?
Dami was there with Afenyo Tampuli, Al-Hassan Tampuli. They were all there.
But they are not your official legal team?
No, they were not. But Dami was my official legal lawyer. But they went in with concern that this is your bail term. What does it mean? The guy has told you he doesn't have landed property. Then you say, go and bring the thing you say, the thing the man has told you that he doesn't have. How is he going to achieve it? I think there was another person who also said he doesn't have landed property. You know, but this was the concern. So they sort of worked with the OSP to vary the bail terms. And then when he varied the bail terms, they said, okay, find somebody to bring. Then somebody supplied it. And then
was the bail term varied for the other people who were?
Absolutely, yes.
There were 4 of you?
There were 3 of us.
All board members?
No board member. I'm the only board member.
Because you're the board chair. The rest were the management.
One person from the management in commercial, which is that's another matter. But he was there, and then another person, the IT guy, not from the company, but the IT guy who was part of the business. He was also there. So the bill was varied for everyone. But the concern, and I have to make this point, that all those people who I said thank you to, who had expressed concern, I have seen some spin on social media. They were not expressing the concern that Paul Adom-Otchere has done something wrong and he's above the law and you cannot touch him. No. They were expressing concern that the bail conditions that the OSP gave were too harsh and unreasonable and are actually unknown to the jurisprudence.
Has the OSP charged you officially?
Not yet, no.
Do you have a hint of what they accuse you of?
What they have accused. The suspect in the letter, they say that corruption and corruption-related offences and procurement breaches. They say it. They say it. But as I said, corruption and corruption-related offences, it doesn't mean any particular. Causing financial loss to the state, stealing, defrauding by false pretenses. Most of the provisions of Act 29 are part of corruption and corruption-related offences. So that's what they said.
But for those descriptions, you are confident that you are on all fours?
Well, causing financial loss to the state, there's nothing. In fact, in the bill, they said that the houses that you should bring should be of any value at all. You know, the thing with bail, when you hear the amount of money, is always calculated on the money that has been lost. So if the investigation is about 10 million cedis, then they give you a bail of 5 million, something like that. Because there's no money involved in this one, they couldn't really put money on the bill. So they said, you bring a house of any value at all, even if it's landed property, any immovable property in your name. That's all they were looking for. That suggests that there's no real amount of money that has been lost, for which reason they will calculate the bill. So all of these were the concerns that the lawyers raised with them. And any other person who wanted to intervene in the matter, their interventionist was limited to the bail conditions. Nothing to do with Paul Adom-Otchere has not done anything wrong or Paul Adom-Otchere is above the law. No, not far from that. No one can say anyone is above the law or that anyone should not be interrogated or charged by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. People are concerned when bail is used as a weapon. And I've seen articles since then that bail is not a weapon. Bail is not to show power. Bail is to say that I have charged you, you cannot run away. If you run away, I'll catch you. So I'm giving you self-recognizance bail. Come and report to me once a week. You can't travel. Let me know before you travel. That's what bail is about. Bail is to make sure that you are not a flight risk. And so for people like me and other people who are very all over the place and on public platforms, self-recognizance bail is what people thought. However, the OSP has a discretion not to do self-recognizance bail. He can ask, as we did, other people to stand surety. But to ask you to present your own 2 houses, a factor that is not automatic with life. You may be 60 years and not have 2 houses. You can be 100 years and not have 2 houses in Ghana.
Yeah.
You may have no house in Ghana, but 1 house in Maryland or 1 house in Nigeria. So that kind of condition is what everyone was concerned about.
Do you think... Okay, let me change the question. How will this affect the way you approach your work? I watch your shows, and you do it differently from all of us. You speak your mind, you do your research, and you take positions. Now, this is obviously going to affect you, wouldn't it? Because it appears, if it becomes a long-drawn case, it could affect you in the sense that you may not even be able to talk about it if it gets to court, could you? I don't understand. Like, if for example, it becomes a court issue, do you have liberty? Because I think you did some commentary on this earlier, right? Mm-hmm. will you be able to continue doing that?
I think that's a decision that if the matter goes to court, a court will take. And it will take it on an application by the prosecution. However, having said that, I covered cases in court, and I saw Richard Jakpa grant interviews about his own case. I saw Atu Forsen talk about it, and I've seen, I've looked at cases across the board, and people talk about their case. But however, if there's an order from the court based on an application that the way in which you are running the commentary on the case, you are prejudicing the outcome of the case, and the judge agrees with it, and the judge gives an order that you can't talk about it, I'm sure that order will be respected.
But beyond the case itself, if you go back on air to do, because you do a hard job, how's it going to affect you?
Well, as I'm saying, it's all within the limitations and the delimitations of the law. If the law says that at this juncture you cannot do this.
I'm not even talking about this case. I'm saying emotionally, psychologically. So you go on air and you want to discuss something political.
Oh, well, I mean,
wouldn't the case and the possibility of prosecution be at the back of your mind?
Well, the possibility of legal action has always been on the mind of anybody who is publishing about other people. And we have done this for a long time. We have not been sued in defamation because we always know how to present the case. You don't go and present a case prejudicial against people.
Okay.
You don't present a case for which you have no evidence. We never do that. And we have dealt with heavy cases. And you don't also present a case and use words that are prejudicial. You have to find the right words to use to protect yourself from being sued. And that's what we've been doing all the time. And that is why for the things that we have done with the OSP, he's not been able to, with his legal mind and his legal team, pick one of those things and said, I'm taking legal action against you on this thing you said about me.
You've never been sued for something you did on your program, defamation?
No. Maybe once with, the only time we've been sued was Isaac Osei had granted an interview to us where he had talked about Dr. Akoto. That Dr. Akoto still lives in some house in Tema, which belongs to the Tema Oil Refinery. Dr. Akoto took out a writ of defamation against Isaac Osei, and we are second defendants because
he... not something you directly...
We went on to court on that, yes. Recently, another writ has been taken out against us by Tony Orban in Galamsey. During the election 2024, there was a video in which somebody was speaking about Galamsey and he was there. And we had berated him for being there and allowing a person to talk about if we win elections, Galamsey will continue, given his background in mining. He has taken out a defamation writ against us. So that's there. So this is for the last so many years. This is what we have. Because we go out and deal with this. And also, we recognize that our platform is we can be biased on the platform, but we cannot be, we have to be impartial. So impartiality is if anyone whom we have said anything against wants to retract, wants a time on our platform, we are happy to give it. We're always open to anyone who wants to come.
So if the special prosecutor wants to come on your show, would you interview him?
I would interview anyone who wants to come. You saw what happened after the election. Yeah. My arch rival in election data analysis, Musa Dankwa, I invited him to come on the show. I apologized to him and we spoke. And he said a lot of things against me, but that's okay. He's entitled to that because I have said a lot of things against him. So
some of which were wrong.
Well,
because he did get the election result right.
No. I was asked that question recently and on PCF. Yeah, I think he did get the election result right. But this is what it is. His research, and I saw you interview. Was it you or it was the Saturday
I interviewed him, and then the gentleman
you did with the other people, the other posters.
I didn't interview him, and then the Kumasi guy.
Yes, the Kumasi guy.
Who you had praised.
Yes,
but whose prediction was wrong.
Yes, who had interviewed as well. Okay, perfect. So I watched that program. It's a very, very good program. Yeah. Now, what happens with this research, and you will know it better than I do, that with any research based on economics and sociology, there's an underpinning theme, all things being equal, or other things being equal. For the purpose of this analysis, I like to use other things being equal. Okay. So when you make a prediction of that stage, every prediction is subject to all things being equal.
But you chose to believe the wrong guy.
Yeah, fair enough. That is why I apologize.
Because what Musa did was precisely over a period.
That's why.
And then the other guy took a snapshot. So in that snapshot, he said, this is what I see. But Musa had done year and a half work.
There's history with Musa Dankwa getting some things wrong on primaries.
But I'm saying that, if you want to choose, since you're asking me now, if you want to make a choice in terms of election, I think it's better to use someone who's done it more times so that it gives you a better...
I think if you want to choose, you choose someone who has never gotten it wrong. And you may not find one.
No, that's not... It's a methodology. Because if somebody does a research which gives you a snapshot once. Because elections are such fluid, the trend is better than the snapshot.
No, I didn't look at those details, how many times you've done it, but I know that on occasion, people have gotten it wrong. Musa Dankwa himself has gotten some.
Well, I'm saying that you were doing two different researches. One is a poll, one is a social. What I'm saying, there are two different
both
things.
of them predicted.
Yeah, but they use different bases.
Fair enough. I'm saying that in the case of Musa Dankwa, in what happened in election 2024, if you compare to other elections, would we say that all things were equal? That's a question people must ask.
But not all things are never equal anywhere. I'm just saying that. The reason I believe Musa over the other guy was that his methodology was polls over a period.
Okay, so you
as against a comprehensive national survey, which gives you just one snapshot.
Okay, so you will choose also Professor Lynchman, who got it blatantly wrong. Because he does what you're saying.
But in a different context.
Well,
I understand the Ghana context better.
What Lynchman has been doing it from Jimmy Carter. He's gotten it correct in 1980 elections, 84, 88, 92. Just this one, he got it wrong.
But do you also know that?
I also felt, and I was interviewed by Reuters, that Lynchman got it wrong. That he was going to get it wrong. Let me tell you why he was going to get it wrong. Because in one of Lynchman's 8 analysis, he talks about the incumbent. Is the incumbent running? If the incumbent is running, that's a point for the ruling party. If the incumbent is not running, that's a point against the ruling party. In the case of Kamala Harris, he noted it as the incumbent running. And I came on TV and said that it is not the... I think Professor Lynchman should look at it. I think with H.C. Kanku.
I get it. Let me give the last reason why I believe Musa was that when you compare some of the data sets he'd picked, NCC had done a survey and Afrobarometer, asking similar questions on different issues, you notice that they aligned better. So if you pick SMART, there was no
SMART Sapon, is that
SMART Sapon. There was no other survey where SMART Sapon aligned with anybody. But if you take questions around young people and their intentions to vote, Musa and Afrobarometer and NCC were similar. So that gives you, so it's not just the length of time, but also comparing across.
I think I can agree with that.
Interesting. Were you shocked at the outcome of the election, though, in terms of the numbers for Mahama and Nelson Parliament?
The Parliament, I was definitely surprised. But what surprised me was the turnout. And I did my work in Ashanti region on voting day. And by 2 o'clock, it was obvious that the turnout was very, very low. And it looked like what the MPP feared had happened. Because the MPP had been talking about turnout in their internal polls, in internal meetings. They had been concerned about turnout, how people turn out to vote. So they had a whole plan to get out the vote and all of that. But when I looked at the time, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and this is the turnout, I knew that something significant was going to happen.
But you know, every time there's a low turnout, government changes.
Every time there's what?
A low turnout below 70, the government changes.
I don't know
since
that.
Since 96.
Yes, but I was looking at the stronghold of the MPP. And there was low turnout there. So I knew that the MPP is losing significant votes. And it was very simple to check. So they look at 2020, by this time, how many people had voted. So my reporters were checking around how many people had voted. So in some places, where in 2020, 400 people had voted at the polling station, at this time it was 30. And it was heavy. And I called people about it that, look, it looks like this thing is getting very bad. So with that account, by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I was aware that, you know...
Did you understand the approach of the party to MPP now to choose the flag bearer first?
Oh, yes. I think I read Kwabena Japon's thesis, which I believe set the tone for all of this. And he makes a point that a party is in clear disarray, given the heaviest election defeats. And it is important to have leadership. Unfortunately for the MPP, their party chairman, according to their own reports, has not been very well. Otherwise, he should be holding the fort together. Now, when the party chairman is not well and he has a replacement, you will not have everybody addressing the replacement as a new leader of sorts. A new leader must be generated organically. And so they thought that instead of generating a party chairman who will not be on the ballot, let's go first for the person on the ballot so that we know that we have this comprehensive leader. As I have answered before, what the MPP needs to win the new election. So the general thing is correct. I think it's good. I don't know whether it will work, but I think it's good. What the MPP needs to win the next election is unity. What the NDC needs to win the next election is performance.
Interesting.
So as we go along, we look at it. If the MPP is gaining, so the MPP gains...
So the nature of who wins the MPP primaries and the way they win it is critical. Because if it's divisive, it's going to be a problem.
If it's divisive and they're not united, then they are starting on one leg. Then they have to pray and hope that the NDC doesn't get performance.
How do you think Mahama is performing?
Oh, so far, I think it's early, but in terms of his optics, I think it's fine.
What about the numbers, like the economy and stuff?
The economy and stuff numbers, I think
like the exchange rate is stable.
Economists must still tell us.
The inflation rate is lower.
That is correct.
A lot of
all the
debt to GDP is below 50.
All the macro indicators are coming up strong.
Yeah.
But I listened to that interview Felix Kwachio Fosu in 2017. He made a brilliant argument. I think it was on Good Morning Ghana.
Yeah.
When he listed a whole lot of things that the MPP said they had achieved, and he said that, but he's making the point that Nana Akufo-Addo and Ofori-Atta didn't know anything about it. Then he started about what happened in 2016, how Dumsor was blah, blah, blah. So it convinced me that in the first 6 months, 3 months of any government, it is inheriting. It's the inheritance that they are spending. And that's the same with every government. It's the inheritance they are spending. So we need to wait and see after the government has presented its first budget today. Today, for instance, I woke up to the story of Case Latofosen's Good News, Coco. Then 4 hours later, MPP are saying that no, he misreported. And I still, as I'm speaking to you now, don't know.
So we should give it time. We should give Mahama time to know his full
economic performance. Okay. I think we need to give him a bit of time. But certainly the optics are correct. And certainly he was popularly elected.
Wow. I wish we can do this often. More often. Thanks you, Paul. It's always good
we
to see
didn't talk about NCA. I wanted to make a point.
NCA. Because that's my next point. Okay. Fine, that's the last question.
I can just make one point.
Yes.
I think that there's some part, I was discussing with some entities, there's some part that people are not realizing. And I got quite sad when I saw a Facebook post last night on Facebook, very important person, and other people were discussing it. Now, his concern was that there are 20% of Ghanaians who are below extreme poverty line, and yet our discussion is focused on this. You see, the DSTV issue is looked at, and some, like Franklin Kujo has made a post and says that you don't have to have DSTV. You can decide not to have it. It's presented as an elitist sort of product. I don't think anymore. You know, because DSTV carries local channels. And majority of the lower middle class and upper middle class young people, that's how they watch you.
Even this show,
that's how they watch Good Evening Ghana. That's how they watch Joy, Peace FM. So if the DSTV cable, the bouquet, is now perhaps the go-to bouquet for the local channels, which we consider a right of people to watch television. So DSTV have moved from an elitist brand into a sort of almost necessary.
Their Go TV at the lower end, all the way to.
We made the point that when one person's DSTV's subscription is down, DSTV can take their pictures off, but they should keep the local channels on Metro TV, GB. They only keep GBC. They don't keep the rest of us. So maybe that's another point Sam George could make. There's another last point we should make that Sam George should perhaps add to his conversation. I've been talking about this for a while. It's important that DSTV gives us the choice to decide whether I want to watch this Premier League game this weekend or I don't want to watch it. Right. Every weekend, you are given 10 Premier League games to watch by force. You pay for all the 10 Premier League games. You cannot choose Manchester United. In England, you can choose Manchester United this weekend only. Or you choose all Manchester United for the season so you get a discount. You choose all Arsenal. The day Bournemouth is playing Everton, which tends to be a big game, which you didn't choose at the beginning, you can go into your phone and choose it. So maybe we should graduate to that point. I don't want to watch Big Brother. I don't have to pay for it. But I don't watch Big Brother.
So you think what is initiated is a good opportunity to discuss?
I think we should open up the discussion. But I don't know whether we have the systems to support what I'm saying. Okay. England has a system to support that. So first of all, DSTV is almost a mass product because it's carrying the signals of local channels. Number two, the more important conversation is not subscription. It is the freedom of choice for the person who is watching the DSTV. I have a cable. I don't want to watch Arsenal. I'm giving Arsenal game. Every month you bring me a bill. For 80% of DSTV I didn't watch. I want to watch only CNN, but I pay for BBC, I pay for Al Jazeera, I pay for everything, and I'm watching only CNN. Maybe I want to watch only Point of View. I don't want to watch this. Then you're asking me, but in England, that's how it is. That's what cable has always been about. So you want to watch the Mike Tyson fight, you watch it, you pay and watch it. So maybe they should have a look at that.
Thank you, Paul. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Imani and Kat on this matter. They have two different views on the Samuel George versus DSTV issue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.